And good evening, everybody. This is Rob Johnson with the Spotlight Media Network, coming to you from the Louisville Fire Department as we are getting ready for the Louisville City Council meeting here for January 20th, 2026. So we'll be getting things started here in just a few minutes, so sit back and enjoy. This is the Spotlight Media Network.
I don't know how it's going up anyway.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
It seems to be all based on it.
I'm excited.
Tuesday.
Okay, I have 6 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Louisville City Council meeting on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. I'd ask for approval of the January 20th meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Please bow your head for a moment of silent prayer. Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Street,
Here.
Aljanza,
Here.
Gadone,
Here.
McAllister Atkins. Here. Mills.
And please let the record reflect Council Member Mills is excused. I have a certificate of an open meeting that the news media was notified, and I'll entertain a motion of the minutes for the January 5th, 2026 regular council meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And I'd ask them, or we can go ahead and vote.
Street,
Yes.
Aljanza,
Yes.
Gadone,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins. Yes.
Okay, we have Mayor's Court reporter receipts and disbursements for the month ending December 31st, 2025. I'd ask them to be accepted as presented. And we'll move on to the financial report of receipt and disbursements for the month ending December 31st, 2025. Go ahead, Matt.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to go over a couple of the highlights, this being the final finance report for the year 2025. Income taxes ended up coming in 3.4% above 2024, which is a little bit above what we expected, so that's very encouraging. I'd also like to point out on that page 2 there, the general fund cash balance, it ended at almost exactly, unencumbered balance, almost exactly what it was at the end of last year, which is a good indicator that the finances are being, department heads are doing a good job, but what's coming in is going back out. I also want to point out on the next page that the target percentage, obviously for expenditures as of December 2025, is 100%. We have a total of 70% of the appropriations were spent for all funds, which is quite low, obviously, but I would like to point out that particularly in the capital improvement fund, while only about 2% of the appropriations were physically paid out, the vast majority of the rest of it is tied up in encumbrances, purchase orders that will be paid.
Okay. Any questions for Matt? Okay, we'll move on to persons appearing before council, and we'll have Mr. Ruskin come on up from the Eagles.
Hello, Mayor.
Hello.
My name is Tom Ruskin. I'm an officer of the Louisville Eagles. Been there for 50 years. As the trustee Jeff Stover here, inside guard Mike Richmond, and our conductor Mike Rainey Branch. Over the years, past I've appeared here before the city of Louisville, I present checks to the city for money we've raised throughout the whole year. Over this past year, we've raised over $200,000, and we've given almost that away in charities throughout the year to different organizations we've hosted. You have to get money from our Eagles, you have to have a 301 501c3, put an application in, and this year it's a license. We only might have to we're about to give it to you. But tonight, Randy will take care of out there. That is for Mr. Miller here. Go to Randy.
This is for K9?
K9 unit.
K9 unit.
Thank you. 40, what, how much is that, $4,500? $2,000?
This is 2,000.
$2,000? Okay.
Wow.
Jeff, you give it to the police chief.
It's me. It's me. Thank you.
What's your role?
Mike, get back to the chief, fire chief.
Here, I'm glad to present this to you, Chief. You're doing such a wonderful job.
Thank you, appreciate that, thank you.
And also, I have a $1,000 check here for the Louisville fireworks display for the fall.
All right.
Great.
I was told to give it to you, but I said, nah.
There we go.
Jeff, you have something to say? Just trustee here. He's.
If you guys just don't know, just real briefly, the Eagles is a great organization. Like Tom said, we raised over $200,000 last year to give away to local charities. We try to keep all the money local within Stark County as much as possible. We do donate to some state charities and stuff too, but a lot of that comes from we have legal gaming devices in our facility. I feel like I need to say that with all the law enforcement. But we have to donate either 25 or 50% of our profits from those, depending on how much money we make every year. So if you're not a member of the Eagles, well, I encourage you to stop up and ask around and become a member. Anybody can join as long as you're not a felon. So, but yeah, thank you for having us.
Mike, you have something?
No, I've been involved probably 30 years now, and the amount of money we did for charities is just unbelievable. So we help as many people as we can.
Just, thanks for letting us come. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, on behalf of the city, thank you. Thank you again for donations and everything you all do, so.
Yeah, I thought it was appropriate also that Mike was the one presenting the check to the fire chief. How many years were you in the business, Mike?
36.
36 years.
Yeah, for the city.
And ever since the Eagles has donated for her, ever since, they even donated the original heat alarm for the cruiser, all the equipment outfitting the cruiser, food the whole way, the whole 11 years. They've definitely supported her very well.
Very good. Thank you. And speaking of Sadie, we will move on to the retirement of our K-9 officer Sadie. So, Rachel, if you can come on up.
All right.
Officer Miller, Sadie, and anybody else wants to join.
I have assistants. Come on. Come on. Come on, Sadie.
She wants to do something.
I know. All right, on behalf of the Louisville Police Department, I would like to congratulate K-9 Sadie on her retirement and thank her and her handler, Steve Miller, for all their hard work in keeping our community safe, for their 11 years of service here in the city and in Stark County and in any other agencies that she has assisted. As recognition for your retirement, Sadie, we have a bag of treats for you. Okay? And Shelly in our department, we do that. So congratulations, Sadie.
I know, yeah. She smells like treats. For a 12-year-old, she's very active here. You sit. Sit. Go ahead and sit.
Give her the treat.
Oh, here, I got it. I got it. Oh, right here. It's a cookie. That's the cookie.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, all
right. We'll go ahead and take a brief 2-minute recess, so in case anybody was just here for the dogs or for the Sadie or here with the Eagles. If you would like to leave, you're welcome to leave. If not, you're welcome to stay. So we'll just take a break, 2-minute recess, and then we will continue on with the rest of our meeting. Thank you.
All right. That is so cute.
Did you know that when you invest in your smile, you're investing back into your Stark County community? Welcome to Thomas Dental. My name's Tanya. I'm Dr. Mike's practice manager. Every day, we're investing back into our community. Here are just a few of our community efforts. Here at Thomas Dental, our mission is bringing smiles back to our community, one smile at a time.
Hello everyone, I'm Tegan Evans. As many of you know, when the Louisville Herald moved on into retirement, the city of Louisville, Nimishillen Township, and all of its community members were left with a void. The community lost its ability to hear about local events, news, information, sports, and community projects. We lost the ability to come together for Louisville's betterment. Well, we have a solution for you, Spotlight Media Network. Spotlight Media Network is a place anyone can go, whether it be social media, YouTube, or our website, that will display information in different formats to show the best Louisville has to offer. One last thing, if you have something newsworthy or something you would like the community of Louisville to hear about, send us an email at spotlightlouisville1@gmail.com. So if you want to see what is happening in Louisville or the best Louisville has to offer, check out Spotlight Media Network, where we know Louisville is #1.
On with ordinance number 26-03.
Being an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an amended contract with CCI Commercial Construction, change order number 7 and number 8, for the second rebid Aljancic Park restroom renovation project, original contract authorized by ordinance number 2549.
I'll make the motion, we bring ordinance number 2603 to the table for its first reading.
Second.
All right, Mayor, this simply authorizes a couple of change orders with CCI Commercial Construction. There was a grounding wire that needed to be installed and a electrical circuit that needed to be replaced that we were unaware of at the start of the project. So this authorizes the change order, and the total cost is $2,562. We're of course asking for it by emergency so that the project does not get delayed.
What is the estimated completion date on that project?
Probably closer to mid-February.
Okay.
So they're just got a few checklist items. Waiting on some extra pieces, parts. They're the partition walls for the bathrooms and stuff like that. They gotta get in. So once that's here, they'll install that and be done.
Great. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, let's go ahead and vote.
Street,
Yes.
Aljancic. Yes. Godone,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins. Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we suspend the rules to adopt ordinance number 26-03 by emergency.
I'll second that motion.
Go ahead and vote.
Street,
Yes.
Aljancic. Yes. Godone,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins. Yes.
Okay, please read it again.
Being an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an amended contract with CCI Commercial Construction, change order number 7 and number 8, for the second rebid Aljancic Park restroom renovation project, original contract authorized by ordinance number 2549.
I'll make the motion, we bring ordinance number 2603 to the table for emergency.
Second. Street,
Yes.
Aljancic. Yes. Godone,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins. Yes.
Okay, declare ordinance number 26-03 duly passed and enacted. We'll move along to ordinance number 26-04.
Being an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a purchase agreement with Sarshone Ford for the acquisition of a 2026 Ford F600 for the Public Works Department.
I'll make the motion, we bring ordinance number 2604 to the table for its first reading.
Second.
Mayor, this authorizes the purchase of this vehicle that will be used by the Public Works Department primarily for the purposes of cleaning, doing the work relative to storm sewers, cleaning up storm sewers, cleaning out the areas under the bridges along the creek. The purchase price is $74,939, and this was part of the 2026 budget appropriations.
I make a motion that we accept ordinance number 26-04.
Second.
Yep. Yep, we can go ahead and vote.
Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Godone,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Okay. Move along to ordinance number 26-05.
being an ordinance making appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Louisville, Stark County, state of Ohio, for the year beginning January 1st, 2026.
I'll make the motion, we bring ordinance number 2605 to the table for its first reading.
Second.
Mayor, Matt actually is going to detail the appropriations amendment that is this ordinance.
I can certainly do that. There's quite a bit in this one. It's a bit of a large one, but I'll try to be as brief as possible. In the general fund in total, we're increasing appropriations by $239,713. $160,000 of that is transfers out for various things. That $103,000 of the capital projects fund, that is to cover actual ending balance shortfalls as well as the pitching mounds that we need to grab for the baseball fields. It's also $57,000 of the compensated absences fund. That's the fund we pay retirement severances out of just based on calculations of estimated possible need this year. The rest of it is a combination of donations, appropriating donations that we've received both near the end of last year and early this year, so they can be spent by the correct departments. And also for the electric bills at this wonderful new fire station. When we did the original budget, the electric line item for the fire department did not yet exist. So as the line item didn't exist, it was not budgeted for, so we're gonna add that in now. In the capital, then down in the capital projects fund, as I mentioned, there's $466,000. The biggest portion of this is the concession stand at the ball fields. This money was appropriated last year, but it wasn't sort of memorialized into a purchase order before year end, so it needs to be reappropriated before we can pop that purchase order in. It's also, like I said, the mounds, as well as the $50,000 for the amphitheater that was pledged by council, and also the work to get electric service to the concession stand, which I imagine it will need. Those are the biggest portions of it. The other items in the other funds represent the reappropriation of purchase orders that were closed at the end of last year that we subsequently we would like to use the funds. So when they were closed, they were popped back into the available balance. We're reappropriating them so we can pop them back into purchase orders as needed. If there's any questions
Anything
about
else?
that. No, I know that's a lot. If there are any questions, I'm happy to clarify any of that.
That was a condensed version, Mayor?
That was the condensed version.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This ordinance, per the charter, gets passed by emergency.
Very good. Andy, I was just, and I know I sent you the email about the mounds. Just kind of describe that a little bit. And I didn't know in my head if that had something to do with their use as both a baseball and a softball field and some of the work that had to go into there.
So surprisingly, they are just that expensive. As a matter of fact, the price that we're getting, that Darrell was able to negotiate, is lower than what is available on Sourcewell, which is a purchasing cooperative where bidding is done. Those are for adult mounds. We're purchasing them outside of the contract. Right now, there's some question or some conflict within the understanding of the contract. We're working through that issue, but we did not want to wait until that was resolved to order these because we do in fact want the baseball fields to be open for use in the spring. But yeah, unfortunately, they are just very expensive, but these particular mounds are just the adult mounds that would be installed or moved out to the fields for adult games. There will also be youth mounds, but this particular appropriations is for the adult one.
When you say adult, I mean, I assume is there a certain age, like is it 16 and above, or
You're probably looking at high school.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know that it's age dependent as much as it is the league.
Yeah, it's the height of the mound, the diameter of the mound itself, the size of it, that all plays a part in it.
And our city workers will change them out if you have different people using the fields?
Yeah, so they're movable. The adult mounds, they come in pieces. They probably, I don't know the exact number, but they're probably 4 to 6 pieces that they come in, and then you assemble them on the field. And then when you're done with them, you can take them apart and pull them down. The youth mounds that he mentioned, I think those are 1 piece. Those are a lot smaller.
And if you'll remember during the budgeting cycle, we did ask for and you committed some additional resources to the parks because of this kind of expanding responsibility to maintain those new fields and some of the other features that have been installed in the past couple of years.
Sure. I just saw the price tag and thought I was in the wrong
It
business.
is surprising. Not being a baseball guy, I just assumed it was a mound of dirt and that was that.
That's how it used to.
That's what it was when.
I guess if
That's
it
what
was.
What 30 years ago it was.
Sure.
We would like move when Andy was the rec director, we would move the dirt
Oh,
one thing and then move it for the little kids. I mean, we literally moved it. Right, Kathy? We moved it ourselves. We didn't have specialized mounds.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Look forward to seeing them. Should be nice. Does anybody else have any other questions? All right, let's go ahead and vote.
Street?
Yes.
Aljancic?
Yes.
Godone?
Yes.
McAllister Atkins?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to suspend the rules to consider ordinance 26-05 by emergency.
I'll second that.
Let's go ahead and vote.
Street?
Yes.
Aljancic?
Yes.
Godone?
Yes.
McAllister Atkins?
Yes.
Thank you. Tiffany, read it again.
Being an ordinance making appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Louisville, Stark County, state of Ohio, for the year beginning January 1st, 2026.
I'll make the motion, we bring ordinance number 2605 to the table, passed by emergency.
Second. Street?
Yes.
Aljancic?
Yes.
Godone?
Yes.
McAllister Atkins?
Yes.
Declare ordinance number 26-05 duly passed and enacted. Move along to ordinance number 26-06.
Being an ordinance authorizing the city manager to dedicate an easement to Ohio Power Company, an Ohio corporation, and a unit of American Electric Power for lighting at the restroom concession stand building at Metzger Park.
I'll make the motion, we bring ordinance number 2606 to the table for its first reading.
Second.
All right, Mayor, as you know, part of the improvements to Metzger Park were to have a restroom / concession stand installed in the middle of the baseball fields. It has actually arrived. I believe it is in the parking lot of Metzger Park now and will be installed tomorrow. So part of that installation process requires electric be run from roughly the nickel plate area to the concession stand. One of the requirements for AEP to do that is that they have an easement. So this ordinance that we are asking to be passed by emergency will authorize me to sign a contract that creates that easement for AEP so that the power lines can be installed.
Okay. Any questions?
Well, the only thing I have, I did make a couple phone calls today and I did find out that the only thing they're waiting on is this easement and the payment. And typically, anything that comes across in front of us, that mentions the Ohio Power Company or American Electric Power, I abstain from the vote, so if I decide to do that in the next 30 seconds, you'll know why. It doesn't mean I'm for or against.
If you abstain though, unfortunately, because
You won't be
you
able to
don't
pass it
have
by
all
emergency.
5 council members, it wouldn't pass by
I
emergency.
mean, you know, it's just an easement.
Right, there's no
I'm just kinda
financial
torn.
component to it.
Right, so you're okay with that?
I don't think that would create an issue.
Yeah, yeah,
You
it's,
see
it's,
anything-
you're, it's not improving or disproving any pecuniary interest of anybody. The agreement already exists, everything already exists, this is just enabling them to access the concession stand through an easement. And the only reason we need council to do it is because it's public property, so we're technically giving up an easement right on publicly owned land.
Okay.
And understand, this goes through the parking lot, so we're not giving up any land that we might sometime in the future want to do something with.
Right, and that conduit's already under there, you're just pulling it in.
Correct, the conduit was installed prior to the parking lot being put in.
They're the only game in town.
Well,
It's not like we're going somewhere else.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Okay, let's go ahead and vote.
Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Cadone,
I will vote yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we suspend the rules to consider ordinance number 26-06.
second. Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Cadone,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Okay, please read it again.
being an ordinance authorizing the city manager to dedicate an easement to Ohio Power Company, an Ohio corporation, and a unit of American Electric Power for lighting at the restroom concession stand building at Metzger Park.
I make the motion, we accept ordinance number 26-06 by emergency.
Second.
Okay, let's vote.
Street,
Yes.
Aljansic,
Yes.
Cadone,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins,
Yes.
Declare ordinance number 26-06 duly passed and enacted. Moving along to new business. Let's hear about this city hall renovation update.
All right, Mayor, so before you, you have a packet that gives kind of an approximate rendering of the exterior of the building and then the interior schematic. I will say on the exterior rendering, the canopies that you see on the front of the building, that has since been removed because the ground, due to the pit that is there beside the building, won't support the weight of the canopy. So this is relatively accurate minus that canopy that you see on the front of the building. And then the interior schematic is where we are currently at, and I don't believe that it will change much as far as the design. So if we back up a little bit, just especially for the benefit of new council members, the reasons for the renovation and expansion of City Hall surround a lack of space, a lack of security, and not necessarily just to protect the employees, although that's important. But any number of people can walk into the building pretty much at any point during business hours and go to the basement where records are kept, go other places. So to address that security issue, and then probably most importantly, to address the ADA issue. We are not and have not been ADA compliant in the building. So those are the three primary reasons that we kind of embarked on this process. We had a very rough estimate initially from the architects. As they got into the building and were able to see what they were dealing with, that just consistently went up. Right now, the estimate from the architects is $4 million. They are taking the existing plan, they're going to forward it to the estimators who will be able to give us a more concrete price. Typically, it doesn't vary much from what the architect says. We should have that in a couple of weeks. Again, it is more than what we anticipated, but we are able to find the funds. If you'll remember, council to date has set aside roughly $2 million for the project. Given the carryover and the revenues above the projection that Matt referenced earlier, between those two, we have roughly another $1 million. It looks like, and we won't know till the project closes out at the end of the month, but it looks like we're gonna have roughly $450,000 available to us, left over from the fire department construction. And then we have about $250,000 tied up in the amphitheater purchase order, which we will be reimbursed for. And then Matt and I have identified some other areas where we may be able to draw some funds from for the project. So I guess the bottom line is, it is certainly more than any of us anticipated, in large part because of the condition and some of the features of the building. But provided it doesn't go much higher, we would have those resources available to do the renovation and the expansion. Once we have that number back from the estimators, I'll certainly provide it to you. And in the meantime, not much else is going to take place. Just to give you an idea, some of the things we're talking about that have increased the cost. If you've not been in the basement, there's the basement level, but then within the basement, there's a rise that you step up to go to the restrooms and to go to, there's what used to be a fitness room, but what will probably be a break room. We have to make that ADA compliant. Because we have to do that, we have to bring the remainder of the basement up to code, which involves fire suppression systems, an air exchange handler, which doesn't currently exist, probably wasn't required when the building was built. And because you're doing those things, you have to remove the ceiling, and because you're removing this, it just snowballs into cost, and we're finding things like that all over the building. One of the things the engineers discovered, the exterior walls aren't insulated. So part of the cost that wasn't anticipated is to provide furring strips, insulation, and drywall to reduce the energy cost of the HVAC system. So again, kind of every time we turn around, there was something that was going to cost additional money, again, because of the condition of the building, because of the way the building was made, because we really haven't made any meaningful improvements to the building in decades. But that's where we're at this point. They did provide, I guess, an alternate. They said you could probably build a building for that amount of money if you have the land. It's certainly, if I can pass that around, that's just an image of something that they suggested. That's about 8,000 square feet. They would estimate if you do it on a budget, you could probably do it for $500 a square foot.
Where are we gonna be at? Where are we gonna be at square foot?
Right now, we're at $4 million.
But I mean, square foot wise.
Well, that's kind of one of the issues. We have roughly 8,000 square feet available to us on the main floor of City Hall, if you include the fire department bay. We have another roughly 4,000 square feet in the basement that we have access to that we currently use for storage. So to do something new, we of course would be giving up square feet. I have to believe, just based on going through the process of building this building, 4 million would pretty quickly turn into more than that. And then we're left with the issue of what to do with the old building. We would still be responsible for the asbestos removal, and if we weren't able to sell the building, likely raising it, or otherwise we would be guilty of what some of the other property owners historically have been guilty of leaving an empty building in poor repair. So to me, it seems that the most logical thing is to continue on the course that we're on, which is the renovation and the expansion of the existing building. But that's not the only option. They did float an option for a new building. It just raises a lot of questions if we were to do that. Not the least of which is, where would we build it? So that's where we're at in the process.
You gonna be able to operate during this construction?
Well, because of what we learned about the asbestos, which is wrapped around all of the HVAC duct system, we're pretty certain that we would have to leave the building. We've already talked about some alternative workspaces, so I don't think that would be a problem. And quite frankly, it probably would be less expensive if we left the building, because then the contractors wouldn't have to make concessions and work around us being in the building. But that's where we're at.
Yeah, for years, our number one concern was the fire station and getting that taken care of. But I think City Hall is pretty clearly number two, which is now number one on the list. And I just know personally, I mean, if it's a matter of tightening the belt for 1 year and having nothing extra and getting this paid for and not taking out any loans to do it, I'd much rather go with that option. Not to mention then we would have a renovated building that was an asset to downtown there. And this isn't, I think years ago, I mean, we had a plan that was presented on the green space that was a fire station, city hall combo with apartments and retail space and crazy. And we killed it. It wasn't feasible. This is just the basics in providing good, responsible government, to the citizens and upgrading, where the law says we have to and where it makes sense to for employees. So I would be all in favor of just taking what we have now, taking the cash that we think we can save if we're not spending anything extra, for the remainder of the year, and just moving forward before the, $4 million today is going to be $8 million in a couple years.
Sure. And from a historical perspective, we have looked at this in the time that I've been here, probably no less than a dozen times. And we unfortunately never could really afford to do it. But to your point, Mayor, the cost has not gotten less. It just consistently goes up and up and up. We're fortunately in a position where it's a one-time expense. It won't be a reoccurring expense like the bond repayment for the fire department is. We could do it, be done with it, and that, you're right, at this point is our biggest priority in terms of facilities, capital, or infrastructure. That's definitely the biggest priority. We can do it, be done with it, and move on. That would be, I think, the most logical thing to do.
The current building hasn't been renovated in a long time, right? We've gone a long time without doing anything.
In my 28 years here, the only thing that I can remember of any consequence that was done to the building was a pitched roof was put on it because it was constantly leaking and they couldn't repair it. So they put a pitched roof on the building. That was probably without question, actually, the biggest improvement that's been made to the building. But if of course, council is welcome to come to the building anytime. We can show you what we're talking about. It's just
it's time to do something.
It's time.
Would we be creating some parking where the pad we recently replaced for the fire, would that create some additional parking on the backside of Gorgas?
Correct. The thought is that that is where the employees would park during the day, which would open up more of the municipal lot to whoever needed to use it. And then, of course, in the evenings or weekends, it would be available for public parking. When we were first talking about building a fire station and rehabbing this building, we did some kind of estimating based on what was going to become available to us, and it was somewhere between, if I remember correctly, an additional 20-25 parking spaces downtown, because we weren't going to have reserved spaces for the fire department. On the other side there, we weren't going to have to keep that free because they were garage door for the fire trucks. So yeah, we will increase the availability of parking downtown.
Great. What would you like from us?
So I guess, just want to make sure that council wants to continue to move in this direction with the architects and the engineer. The next step, once we got that estimate and it was something that we wanted to move forward with, the next step would be that it goes to engineering. The engineers would have a couple of months to do all the engineering for the project. After that, it would be put together in the form of a bid package with the architects, and we'd go out to bid. Ideally, if everything continues to go well, I would think that by summer, we'd be able to go out to bid, hopefully be able to start on the project early fall. And they anticipate, they at this point, they're estimating 9 to 12 months to get the project done.
Great. Do you want to transition to talking about?
Sure. So the other packet that you have are one overhead and one street level rendering of what could be done with Mill Street. So the original design from the same artist was a little more grand, but we got the estimate for the total cost of everything that was included in that rendering, and it was $3.4 million, with a big portion of that being the road that would go through the north part of the existing green space out onto East Main Street. So what we did, rather than keep those plans and hope that maybe one day we could afford it, we did a second rendering with a plan that we believe is going to be much more affordable and something that we can actually move forward with. So ideally, what we would just want is essentially agreeance from council that this concept works, and what we would do then, I've already had a number of discussions with Adam from Unhitched. What we would do then is kind of really get serious about solidifying property lines, what would be given up, what would be swapped, that sort of thing. Because I believe that would probably need to be done before we hired an engineer to engineer this project. So again, it's very different than what was originally proposed, but I think definitely doable. And this would essentially be the first phase. If you'll remember, the initial rendering showed an extension of Umbrella Alley. That could still happen in the future. This would be consistent with that potential. And then some areas where food trucks could service the green space. That could be part of this phase. It could be a second separate phase. It'll just depend on what the cost comes in at. But this, when I say this kind of accomplishes the same goals, it provides that that kind of destination area downtown that so many people have talked about wanting to have. This particular rendering has fire pits, gas fire pits, to where if you wanted, to go downtown to have a drink in the summer, you could get a drink from one of the Dora establishments, go to this, what I would, I guess, call a public patio, have a fire. You can have entertainment in that area. You could, there's just a lot of options to draw people downtown, which I believe is the ultimate goal of this.
So this would not be like it is now, where it's only Unhitched that people can get drinks at. You could bring anything here.
Right. So currently, there's the area that Unhitched has that you have to be a patron of Unhitched to use, and then the area a little further north is a public area. So what you're seeing here would effectively be the public area, and the intention of Adam is to, if we're able to vacate the street, and we think we've already addressed the easements and the utility issues, but that he would build out like a three-season type from the existing building that would be the equivalent of what he does now, that only patrons of Unhitched use, if that makes sense.
Yeah, gotcha. And then it doesn't go up farther. All the green space, the rest of it right now is going to stay as it is for fields. But
correct. This particular rendering would go right up to the property of the law office there, but the green space would, in this concept, would be untouched by development. Yeah. Again, doesn't mean that it can't happen later. Doesn't mean that we don't have options for doing different things on the green space. But this particular concept doesn't encroach on the green space.
Do we think that the money we have set aside for this project, this would be within that budget, or we're not sure?
We think, based on looking at the estimate that did exist, in this particular concept, you don't have to build a road. Really, the biggest expense would be in the surface of what would be the community area in the front, and installing whatever features we wanted to install. A lot of the infrastructure, in a sense, for this concept already exists. The parking lot's already there. We would just be reconfiguring it and changing the way that it's used.
So, like the bricks, like in Umbrella Alley, was it Todd Pugh or something did that?
So yeah, Todd Pugh, there would be a lot of options for the surface. Again, this was just the conceptual rendering. It could be stamped concrete, it could be brick, it could be
Okay.
a wide variety of things. I think that would probably come down to a cost issue.
Looks nice.
But it's difficult to move forward to that point until we have an agreed upon concept.
It'd be a good asset for
If we were to
Second
move
Friday.
forward to the next step, like if we were to decide and give you a motion to move on to the next step, would that include, or would you then start looking into what the cost of raising that drive-through would be?
Yeah, you're right. Once we have the concept agreed upon, we would start talking about what properties we'll swap, how we will work into that process, what some of the cost will be to accomplish it.
I'd be interested to see what that costs.
It's not that big of a structure, I can't imagine it. But yeah, that would certainly obviously be something that we would need to make part of the budget. I don't think there's any interest by anybody to maintain the drive-through.
I'm sure. I just want to make sure that we find that out
Sure,
early
sure,
on.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, another thought there, I mean, if we go down to a one-way, if that still would be considered Mill Street, kind of branching off there, like, would that light really be necessary?
Right.
Or would you go to just like a blinking yellow, since it's already there,
Yeah.
just to kind of slow traffic? But I don't think, if you got a one-way there, I don't think you'd really need.
Correct. We've had conversations about getting a traffic engineer's opinion on whether or not we could just remove all of those traffic lights. Because you're right, at that point, it becomes a T intersection like many of the other ones along East Main Street that don't have traffic lights.
I mean, I love the other concepts, but if we've got something we can afford and something that we can get done and not sit in a binder on a shelf, I'd rather.
And I think this accomplishes the same goals for what we were trying to do. It's just a scaled down version.
Yeah, it definitely, it adds parking and it beautifies that space and
Right.
it extends downtown.
Right.
So.
I mean, if you can imagine a downtown where this is done and the improvements, the list of improvements that I set you, if those get accomplished, it would be a very different downtown than what it is today.
Sure. And on top of what the post office will hopefully look like
Correct.
in a year or two.
Right, exactly.
Maybe we should just do it just to get rid of that light.
It's the electric, it's what we pay AEPs, that's the problem.
I'll abstain from an answer on it.
Okay, yeah, I'm good with this, moving forward with this design.
Can that be one motion for both of these? Sure. Okay with that? I'd make the motion that we move to the next phase for the green space and the rendition of City Hall.
Second that.
Okay.
Street,
Yes.
Aljanza,
Yes.
Godone,
Yes.
McAllister Atkins.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have, and
I have one more thing, Mayor, if you have a
okay,
second.
go.
So
All the time you need.
if you'll remember our conversations after we kind of received a lot of complaints about the noise and the activity in Metzger Park because of the haunted forest.
Yes.
The mayor and I spoke about finding a new location. What kind of came to the surface was the fact that since the recycling center does not exist on North Chapel anymore, it essentially kind of frees that area up. The people who partner with the chamber to put on that haunted forest went out and looked at it. They think it can work. We did talk with the insurance company. They don't have any issues with it. So the thought was to address the complaints that we were getting from the residents in the condo association, which I think, I don't think any of us would have wanted to live through that. But to address those complaints and to continue what has, I think, become a pretty popular event in the fall, we're proposing that we move that to the area that the recycling center was in. And
Is
let
it
them
big enough
continue.
for all their stations?
It is, it's actually, I believe it's 4 acres, it's plenty big enough. It,
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know, I only knew this part,
Yeah, I didn't know it was that big either.
yeah, it is, and surprisingly, I had, quite frankly, always believed that the entire parcel was a flood zone. And it's actually not, it's kind of the fringes of the parcel that are a flood zone. We researched it, found the maps online.
But have you seen it flooded?
Oh, it's definitely flooded, oh, yeah.
Have you actually seen it flooded?
Oh,
Can you go across the tracks, cause it's so
Yeah,
flooded?
even if you'll remember the flood of '03,
Oh, yeah.
the entire area was underwater. So maybe
Well, and I thought that was years ago, I think it was when Larry was talking about with Carter Lumber and would they be willing to move closer to 62 and I thought it had something to do with that land too, where they're like, well, we already have this invested, we don't want to spend the money to move, and you know it's not sitting in a great spot right now. Like they were just going to wait it out.
and we're hoping, of course, that the work that we're currently doing relative to the Army Corps of Engineers report and mitigation of flooding will have a big impact. Certainly isn't going to guarantee anything, but we're hoping to.
Probably why we lost Trilogy Plastics.
That they did flood, and that yes, we lost a couple of businesses because of that.
Yeah, Betty Cowles was flooded how many times there?
Right.
Their antique shop.
Right, the plaza that was.
Pretty bad. Yeah, which is really why this all went down, was for that FEMA, right? So if we were to do something like this, is this something that we could contact Carter Lumber on? Because I would imagine they're probably gonna get hit with some parking.
Yes, that was, the conversation I had with Pearson Duvall, who operates the LLC that partners with the chamber, is going to contact him. We looked at it, there's quite a bit of parking down there just on the city's property. And along, it looks like a driveway, but that's actually a dedicated street beside
North
North Street,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. So if, is that where, did he give you any kind of an idea of where this path would go? Yeah.
It would, so, again, this is very preliminary, but the entry would be on the north end of where the recycling bins were, or the north end of that moon kind of shaped drive. And then the exit would be on the south end, and it would just kind of.
Just loop around, but it would stay within that area, or like back behind the bins?
Yes, it would stay in the wooded area.
I mean, he could really even make it longer there if you.
Oh, it has a lot more options than what the wooded area at Minster Park did, certainly.
Yeah.
And we measured the residents that are closest to it, which is actually only on one side, are considerably further away than what the condos were up at Minster Park. So if we're going to continue with it, this certainly is a good solution to some of the issues that we had. May not be perfect, I don't know, but it certainly will address some of the biggest concerns.
Yeah. Rachel, if you tell you guys that if I just say white Colorado over there, it's just me looking for the woods.
I'm gonna go look at it too now, because I'm interested. Once it's a little warmer.
Yeah.
It would be nice as a city. It's like you want to say yes when you can and no when you have to, and I mean I understood from those residents and walking in the woods. I mean I 100% understood that I would not want that or the woods to be inaccessible. You know, in the fall, which you could argue is the prettiest time of the year that you want to be out there. And so if we can do it in an area that really nobody's close, you know, it's not an area that's going to affect anything else. Like I want the people to come in. I want it to continue to be successful, and I just think this is a much better spot to make that happen.
And so you're aware, we do require them to provide liability insurance. They sign indemnification agreements so that they can't come after the city for any reason if something were to go wrong. And the chamber also provides us with insurance that covers that. So we're well protected with respect to any kind of liability that would arise out of it.
Okay. Yep. I'm good with that.
Okay. I believe that was all I had. Oh, I'm sorry, there was one other issue. And it's really more, I guess more for informational purposes, the trees and the Stone Bridge allotment. If you saw the images I sent, you can clearly
Yes.
see where they're causing considerable upheaving of the sidewalks. We don't know, 25 plus years ago when the development was put in, we don't know if the developer was aware of the mandated trees or if the trees were mandated, but in any event, it doesn't matter because they're doing what they're doing. So what our position was is that, of course, we would work with the residents, but we would remove those trees that are currently causing the sidewalks to upheave, and then have an arborist look at the remaining trees to see if we can expect the same thing from those, and then if we can, probably have those removed as well. Again, this isn't on like what we have done in other areas of the city. This is just probably much more large scale than anywhere else we've removed trees for this purpose.
This would be a replacement program?
No, we wouldn't replace trees in the, at this point, there would be no plans to replace trees in the Devil Strip.
These are like the trees that were going up Chapel Street and down Main Street.
Correct.
That they're upending the sidewalks.
Correct.
So we took care of that, so that
Yeah,
would be
we-
the same
we-
thing.
Yeah, we've removed several trees for the same reason.
Now, you're saying it's not, because we have, did the tree board replace those trees on South Chapel there? I mean, some of those were.
Some of them got, but we knew what trees to put in, that the roots
Yeah,
would,
the
roots
trees,
would
that
get,
the trees
so
that were put in, that were replaced were of a variety that.
they were
correct.
small, miniature, and the roots wouldn't come up, like I would ride my bike and you could, geez, ladies, hoping not to fall.
Jump.
Yeah, they just.
So we would just be going to those ones that are causing the issues with the sidewalk.
Well, we'd start with those, and then if there are sidewalks that are fine, but an arborist says you're gonna have the same issue, the thought would be to remove those as well, so that we're not forcing residents to replace their sidewalks because of an issue that could have been prevented.
Yeah, and the other thing is that a lot of the smaller trees, our service department can probably take care of those up to a certain point. So that would obviously save.
Reduce cost.
Reduce cost.
And what was the total number of trees, do we have an idea?
Well, the total number of trees in the curb lawns in the neighborhood is just over 150. Now,
Wow.
whether or not those, it is, it's, and that's why we're bringing it to your attention. It's a lot of trees. Now, in the older part of the neighborhood, or the newer part, I should say, of the neighborhood, we're not experiencing the same thing, but we don't know if it's because they're a couple of year younger trees, or if the developer who did those homes put in a different tree, and that's what we would rely on an arborist to tell us.
Well, the key is, I know we talked about the sidewalk program a few months ago, but the key is to be preventative on this, and because in the long run, it's gonna save the city money, and it's gonna save the homeowner money, because eventually those sidewalks are gonna be.
Yeah, if you've seen the images, some of them are pretty bad.
Yeah, the entrance coming in is going to look very different.
And that's the unfortunate part, because it is, if you didn't look at the sidewalks and only looked at the trees, it's a nice environment. So was East Main before,
Right.
before we had to remove some of those trees.
It is what it is.
So, and we'll certainly, work with the residents and make them aware, and I guess for the ones that are opposed to it, make them aware of the consequences of, in terms of cost of if the trees aren't removed and the sidewalks have to be replaced. But yeah, we'll start obviously with the worst areas and move from there. And I have no more good news. That is it.
Are you sure?
I think that's enough for them.
Thank you, Andy.
Okay. Mind me again, department reports, it's not on the agenda, are people
We can
prepared?
go around the room now.
Okay, all right, very good. Rod,
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. The end of the year, if you remember, we had quite a few fires there the last little bit, and it really increased our fire loss.
Some big ones.
Yeah, the ATI was the biggest one, so that was a pretty good loss, at about $450,000 loss to that building. So that increased our total for the year, which was bad news, but can't help that. So beginning of the year, though, we started out slow, and hopefully it will stay that way. But other than that, everything's running good.
You guys at the one at Sacred Heart too?
We were at Sacred Heart. We were up on North 44. We were in East Canton that night at 3 a.m. for a commercial fire inside a commercial building. It was on the auto accident fire, the gentleman that had passed in that, and then ATI fire. Yeah, so we had 30 hours, we was in 5 fires.
Wow.
Okay. Dave?
Mayor, council, I know some of the newer council members, back in July, I believe it was sometime back in July, the CIC changed their program on the building enhancement program, upped it to $15,000 over a 5-year period, so you have 5 years to spend $15,000, where it was $7,500 before. We do have quotes right now. There are 5 buildings downtown that we have quotes. We don't have actual applications from them yet, but we do have quotes for five buildings to be worked on. And then there's a couple others that are being worked on. So I imagine most of those buildings they'll be using this program. What the funds are, that's what they're for. I think it's a benefit to the city and to those businesses and property owners. So we're kind of excited that we think there's going to be some, in the spring, some additional construction going on downtown.
How many owners among those 5 buildings, Dave?
2.
Yeah.
And CSC, what's the current fund balance or approximate current fund balance?
I believe, and Matt, I think it's about $145,000, somewhere in that ballpark for the CIC.
Yeah, I just found as I report today, it's somewhere in that ballpark with, I think, roughly 33,000 of it right now dedicated, reserved for that program.
Great. So we're not close to touching certain.
No, we're good.
No, I think it would be.
More property owners are welcome to apply, is the message
Right.
we're going to.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be a fortunate thing if we came back and said that it was all exhausted because there were that many improvements.
I mean, if these improvements are done downtown next year, it's really going to, especially with the other benefit of the alley, it's really going to make the downtown look a lot better, to be honest with you.
What's that money sitting in at?
So we have 2 accounts with First Commonwealth for the CIC. There's a sort of a money market account with a higher interest rate, and then the base checking account.
Right on.
Okay. All right. Daryl?
Thank you. Most everything I have is already covered tonight. Our 2 big focus items that we have is snow and the weather. We're same song, different verse, I guess, on that. Out there bet on that. And then concession stand will be here tomorrow. Getting the parks ready. We want to get a head start on all the projects for the parks for the springtime. So that's our focus right now. But yeah, that's about it.
Great. And when can people expect that, project to wrap up, or should it be able to use in the spring?
Are you talking the ball field specifically?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean our goal is that we want those fields ready to go for spring ball the moment the weather gets decent. There's some things that the dugouts are on order. They'll be here. We'll probably be wrapping that stuff up as far as installation goes springtime. So to give you an exact date, I don't have one of those, but
we played without dugouts. I think the fields will still
it'll
work.
be so
Old timer.
Yeah, we have some things going on. The building we talked about was part of the budget this year to get a maintenance building out there to house all the equipment and stuff that we're going to use. So we might be doing some odds and ends like that out there to finish things up, but the ball fields will be playable by the time the weather breaks.
Were things all said? I know the city's website was down in January, just in terms of field reservations between I know we had a travel organization based in Louisville as well as the Louisville Baseball Association. Was everything worked out with that?
We have a parks meeting tomorrow night, and we're going to try to make sure we got everybody on the same page. So, just trying to make sure, like you said, that everybody's getting a fair chance. All the Louisville organizations are getting a fair chance at all the fields. Obviously with the new fields and stuff to be more available, but we also want to make sure that everybody has an equal opportunity to do that.
Sure. So you have it figured out tomorrow night?
I will. It's a matter of, what everybody else thinks. But yeah, in my head, I've got it all figured out.
Very good. All right, Rachel.
We received a donation from the Rotary last Wednesday, so thank you for our Fishing with Cops program. Steve Miller picked that up for us. And then we also were funded for our federal grant was received for 2026 that helps pay for our domestic violence officer. So all good news over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Anything else, Matt?
No, I think I've regaled you. Finance office, we've been doing a lot of work. All finance staff deserve a lot of kudos for their hard work, and we're open for business for 2026. That's the most important thing, I think, for everyone.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order?
And I said we should thank Daryl of the streets. Remember when we went to the Martin
Oh
Luther
my
King
gosh.
thing?
Yeah.
And they said all the streets were so bad and schools were off, and we just wrote that Louisville streets were awesome.
Yeah. It is funny when schools are closed and I look out my window and it always looks good. Always looks good no matter what.
Thank you.
All right, we will see everybody in February. The meeting's adjourned.
And that was the Louisville City Council meeting for January 20th, 2026. I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. It was very, very informative, and I think there's a lot of great things coming to Louisville. So, again, thank you for joining us this evening, and we will see you in February. This is the Spotlight Media Network. Have a great evening, everybody.